Guest reviews are extremely powerful, and yet somehow they're incredibly underrated. It's almost like an afterthought for some companies. So you can use this to your advantage. So to quickly recap, we talked about the importance of setting guest expectations, getting guest feedback to measure if you over-delivered on that expectation, and now we have a couple of different paths depending on that guest feedback. We have a way to identify delighted guest and the not so delighted guest. So depending on that different path, we take a different action. So let's talk about the happy path. The happy path is turning that delighted guest that left you some warm and fuzzy feedback and leveraging that into a shining 5-star review, preferably on a platform that gets a lot of eyeballs, has very high intent. Yes, I'm talking about Google Maps. Google Maps is great because the people searching are like a heat-seeking missile. They're trying to look for an answer, a solution, ideas. They're in that mode where reviews are very influential. Plus, creating a listing on Google Maps is free with Google My Business. I know, it kind of sounds like an ad, but I really believe in Google Maps because it's free, it's got your audience, and it delivers results. Just make sure that your listing is completely filled. It looks complete. You have pictures and all that stuff. So if other people browsing different vacation rental companies don't get turned off and think you're not actually in business. After you have a decent looking profile, you're able to get a link that points people directly to leave a review, which is awesome. It removes friction in the process. So you take that link and you offer it up to your very happy guests and you ask them for a review. Some people are natural wordsmiths. Other people might need a little prompt, but try to make this process as easy as possible. So now let's talk about the not so happy path. And it's inevitable. You can't please everyone. There's always going to be that one pissed off guest, and it's okay. With your guest feedback process, you can identify these people and get in front of issues before you get blasted on a public review. So this not so happy guest gives you some not so happy feedback, and you take that feedback and you route it to your team right away to try to diffuse the situation, try to understand where the ball was dropped, and try to prevent a similar circumstances from happening in the future for future guests. The important part here in the not so happy path is to be proactive. The majority of not so happy people just want to be heard. So if your team can take that feedback right away and get back to them, first of all, they're going to be surprised that a human is actually reading these things. And secondly, it'll give them a chance to voice their concern, and heck, it could even be a great learning opportunity for you and your team. The whole point of the guest feedback process is to improve on your service. It's a virtuous cycle where you get paid with the equivalent of gold.